I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay. Tonight's meeting is a continuation of our December 30th meeting concerning the fire department and the budget, several other things concerning the fire department. I've given you guys a agenda that I put together today. So let's go over this first. Kent, let's go over the insurance for the roof on the.
Gotcha. So in front of you, you got one, two.
You talking about the insurance waiver or the insurance?
No, I'm sorry. This is for this is something that Kent, after I'd already printed out the agenda. This is about the cost of replacing the roof.
For 153?
Yes.
So you should have in front of you this packet. The first page on it is Gary Gabbard. It's Gabbard Construction. So a couple weeks ago we had a little bit of a windstorm, and the crew called me and said, "Hey, we got a bunch of shingles on the front yard. I want to have somebody check it out in case the roof starts leaking." Todd Daniels got a hold of our insurance company. They sent an adjuster out there. They did an inspection, and they came back with an agreement that the roof needs attention. They came back with the appraisal amount, which I believe you guys have a copy of from the last meeting.
Yes.
The one for $12,745.92, and then with our $500 deductible, they would be cutting us a check for the $12,200 something, $12,245. Todd Daniels has contacted the adjuster and told them that the trustees was good with the dollar amount per the last meeting, and that check should be in the process of coming to the township. So at that time, Todd told me to get estimates from roofing companies, which I did. Five estimates here, and there's one more that the guy told me he was going to send to me 2 days ago, and I haven't got it yet.
Okay.
It was a guy that Alan called that he knew specializes in metal roofs, and I haven't got it. He verbally gave me up 11.5. I don't even know his name. 11.5, and then the metal roof was going to be 19,000. But of the estimates here, Gabbard Construction came in at 9,600, and this is not for metal roof. This is shingles, shingle roof. He came in at 9,600. Hall's Roofing out of Trenton came in at 98.81. Charles Gallagher Roofing came in at 10.3. Don Snyder Roofing came in at 10.555. And then Tarred and Weathered came in at 22,327.66. So my recommendation to go with the cheapest amount. I know the Gary Gabbard Construction. I've seen work that they've done before. Come in at a good price at the $9,600.
Surprising the price difference between this one and the last one, Tarred and Weathered.
Does, I don't know if the equipment is similar, if not all.
I told all the companies that it was a complete tear off with new going back on.
there any requirements that the, insurance company wanted us to do since it's a replacement? I mean, all these, all the quotes seem like they're similar.
Yeah.
I just don't want us to get any kind of hitch or anything because we missed a requirement from the insurance company or anything.
Just a brief summary here from the adjuster himself. Under description, full roof replacement, remove 3-tab 25-year shingle roofing. And number 2, 3-tab 25-year shingle roofing. Number 3, roofing to felt. These are in their all line item there. 4, ice and water barrier. 5, asphalt starter with universal starter course. 6, roof vent. 7, flashing. 8, another roof vent. 9, remove additional charge for high roof. Additional charge high roof. Steep roof. That's about it.
Didn't nobody really say anything about replacing the OSB or the decking on there? Did you see any?
Well, they had some.
The second one does.
Second one's got one.
Yeah,
but they have
4 sheets, I would say that place. I mean, but I'm sure they'll replace just what's needed to be replaced.
Yeah, most of them have a, replacing a bad sheet with the additional charge.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's pretty standard, what they
Yeah.
usually say. Yeah, any bad wood will be replaced as needed. This is $25 per 4x8 sheet plus,
Yeah.
plus the cost of the wood. I guess you have any framing you gotta do, I guess. Have we had any of these companies do any work for us?
Gabbard Construction did some work down at the squad building when we had the mold issue, and the companies came in and installed the equipment down there to get the air circulating. And Gabbard Construction came in and put in a shower unit and some other stuff downstairs.
Oh, did that shower get completed?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
In the upstairs women's, yes.
Oh, is there a shower in the basement anymore then?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I'm good with the.
Yeah,
Gabbard.
I would rather wait and vote for this next Wednesday, if that's okay?
Yep.
Get any other questions, Jeff, and we'll.
They all look similar.
Okay.
They all look like it's similar scope. Nobody's got anything that's they added or deducted that was
No.
out of question.
Okay. Okay, now, the next thing. Review the insurance waiver. I gave all you guys a copy of that insurance waiver that I asked to be, made. Madison's, it used to be, Morgan's. And it was, I don't see anything.
Pretty cut and dry there.
Yeah, it is. I was gonna pull it up, see if I have it in township. looks like it's about, yeah, there's not any changes except Madison Township on it.
Brian, who typed this front page up?
I think Roxanne did that.
You care if I take it and, this is gonna be policy?
Yes.
It's gonna be, care if I
Yes, you
take it
can,
and clean it
yeah,
up?
can you do that and have it ready for
Next meeting.
next Wednesday?
Yeah.
Cause then again, this is another thing I'd like for us to take care of at the next meeting.
Yeah, I like to spell out, you know, instead of MTFD, I like to spell out Madison Township Fire
Yeah.
Department and just clean it up.
Yeah, that's fine,
Okay.
okay. Cause I'd like to go ahead and accept this at our next meeting. You got any questions, Jeff, about this?
Looks, like you said, it looks pretty straightforward.
Okay. All right. All right, next thing, let's go over, new life squad specs. I think there was some,
Yeah, so I talked to Jordan in the last meeting.
uh-huh,
The trustees approved, the squad.
right.
He's got, the sales guy coming down
Mm-hmm,
end of this week, what he said, to finalize everything. They're crossing
Okay.
their Ts and dotting their Is,
all right,
and then moving with it, hopefully within the next week. Let me verify that, 'cause I was just talking to him. We are waiting on the final drawings from Horton, and then meet up with sales rep and sign the papers.
okay.
So there was a couple minor changes, and then they're gonna hook up either later on, say Thursday, it'd be the first of next week after a holiday.
Okay,
But at the last meeting, you guys had approved
yes,
the squad, so they're rolling right with it.
okay, good.
Have they got into any kind of details as far as delivery dates or anything?
On the paperwork that they provided at the last meeting, which I was surprised, was 12 to 14 months, which I thought it was gonna be at least 18. But he's saying they're telling them that the chassis will be in,
Yeah.
which was what the holdup was before, but he's saying 12 to 14 months after the papers are signed.
How's that? I'll have the papers signed,
So that means, January, February, papers are signed. January, February, March of 2023, it comes in. Then probably February or March or April of 2024, the first payment will be due.
Okay. Great. Any questions, Jeff?
okay?
Okay. All right, it's going pretty good so far. All right, next thing is discussion on the budget for fire and EMS and options presented, the options presented by Chief Hall, and then including a necessary levy.
So, I gave you another packet. It's got the Madison Township additional 1 mil fire levy thing on the front page,
Mm-hmm.
which that's what we had in the last meeting. But the second and third pages, once the discussion was leaning towards the 3 mil option,
Yeah,
I went ahead and put in those numbers
okay,
on here. And these are estimates to the best of my ability, but with the 3 mil option, probably be better on the third page, because that's when it starts going 2022. The 3 mil option, it allows us to do so much with our fire and EMS, it really does. With what Mr. Stein said about receiving the monies in 2023, which is great.
yeah,
I put those figures in here. In this budget, I've got the $30,000 payment for the new squad starting in 2024. carrying that out for the 10-year term. We still have the Rescue 151 payment going on to $35,000. Year 2025, that's for a pumper tanker payment. So at the Post-Town station, station 152, we have a Sufton engine. It has some years on it that needs replaced. It's a 1998 model, and we have a GMC Brigadier tanker that was built by Sufton back in 1988. So both those vehicles are in drastic need of replacement. In today's society, in today's fire world, fire departments are starting to condense and consolidate. Oxford City and Hanover Township, instead of buying an engine and buying a tanker, they bought a pumper tanker custom. For us, I think that's a good move. In the near future, instead of having more people, we're going to have less. It's my opinion to replace those 2 trucks with one and have everything on it. Probably around a 2,000 gallon truck, but then it's also going to have all your firefighting needs and rescue equipment that you'll need. The custom truck would be a tandem unit. It's better for the stabilization of the water, and so the cost of a pumper today is probably around $750,000 to $800,000. The cost of a tanker could be anywhere from $250,000 to $400,000. So by going with the one vehicle option, we're saving money. So I've estimated on that payment on that truck would be around $90,000. So I went ahead and put those numbers in there to help show what we'd be setting like also.
So over 10 years?
Yes. On capital expenditures, I threw in one brush truck because our brush trucks are getting some age on them and some wear and tear. Rescue tools are over 20 years old, so I threw in 2 sets of rescue tools as capital expenditures. I updated personnel salaries, currently operating 3. In the future, with the way we want to set up, the salary there is shown for 4 personnel with a little wiggle room in case we wanted some type of Monday through Friday day shift supervision, showing a little bit of wiggle room there just for that, but not much. In years 2024 and 2025, I moved up the budget on the building improvements and maintenance. That's for the Post-Town station. Put some extra monies in there for that if we want to decide, if the trustees want to decide to refurbish or rehab that station, because it's not up to par for sleeping quarters, bathroom, accessible for handicap and all that, gear storage. It just needs to be brought up. The bays there are decent for the apparatus, but the whole building, built in 1850, is just not in today's standards. With that monies and the way we're wanting to move forward, just remember we could have some monies available from the sale of the 2 stations to the south here also. I put in here, because it's still not known what kind of building we would like to build, but I moved the expense up to $450,000 a year for the 10 years. That gives us some wiggle room, because it's unknown right now what kind of building prices are. I've made some phone calls. I've talked to some architects. I've talked to some people that are also talking about building some fire stations. But until you decide exactly what kind of building you want to build, with what type of garage doors, with what type of square footage and all this, it's hard to get a set figure. Middletown is in the process of, if their levy passes in November, they're going to build, I believe, 4 stations. So I got the information of the company that they're going through out of Cincinnati, and I actually got copies of their drawings and their specs. Not that we wanna build a Middletown Fire Headquarters, you know, it's gigantic, but
Right.
looking at their specs, we can get educated on, what they're doing in today's world. I've got the specs here for Wayne Township's station, diagrams, drawings, all that. I also got the specs for Trenton's. To me, I would like to build something, with a combination of Wayne's and Trenton's. I think they did a really good job with what they did, on their buildings, and I'd like to take those two buildings and make them into ours.
Mhm.
Yeah, 'cause I talked to a couple people, and I sent them the Trenton building specs. I said, if we were to build this today, how much would it cost? And I'm supposed to get a price from them. But talking to the one guy, he was talking about how metal buildings have fluctuated over the last year. And that's the thing that kinda scared me about this. He said for a while there, he priced out pricing out a church for somebody. He said it started at $250. He said then it went to $350 the next month, and the following month went to $450. He said now the prices have come down a little bit, because the prices still come down a little
Right.
bit. He said, but he said, and you're starting to get some longer dates on the quotations. But he said you need to kinda get that, like you're saying, kinda get that figured out, what you do, what you want, and then go forward with that.
So on the budget there, you'll notice bottom line there, with, all of the capital expenditures that we would be available to buy and get the department up to where it needs to be. And even with the personnel cost, the budget's good, as far as the bottom line.
I got it. Did you get a copy of this?
Yeah.
I printed out a copy of what it would do. Because it would actually, I mean, it stabilizes it, and our expense is still a little bit higher, but
Yeah.
we're looking at during the years of construction. And then it would, once your construction's complete, then, you know, your cost of your building should drop off that, your expense,
Mhm.
and it should roll down.
And, you know, I don't know, without knowing the cost of a building, you know, it might not be $450,000, it might only be $400,000.
Yeah.
So,
Well, Trenton spent about $3.5 million on theirs, I think somebody said at one time.
I think it was like 2.8.
Oh, 2.8?
I think it was 2.8. I know ours came in, on our building specs came in at 2.7, 8.
Yeah,
Something like that. Yeah. I know, I even thought about pulling up our old specs, but that was a drive-through bay. And after looking at Wayne's and looking at Trenton's with all the storage that they have, the way they're set up, it just makes sense to have a building that has storage, you know.
If you make I'll say you shouldn't have problems if you make your bay doors bigger and the openings bigger.
Yeah. Again, I'd like to have Amy look at that spreadsheet and make sure I'm somewhat in the ballpark
Yeah.
of the numbers.
So Jeff, the second page here, this is with the,
That's the budget he's presenting there. or carry it over in our balance.
Mhm. Yeah.
Which one of the brush trucks are you talking about replacing?
So the Station 152 Post Down Station has the oldest, it's a 2002 model. I was just looking at it the other day, it's right at 55,000 miles. It's a diesel, it's got the 7.2 in it, which is one of the best diesel engines that Ford put out. It's in decent shape now, the seats and the interior is getting pretty well worn out, but that engine is still running pretty good. So that would probably be the first one we'd want to replace here the next 5 years. And then Station 151 comes in right after that. It's a 2004 model. But we keep up on the maintenance on them, and guys do a good job, take care of them. So even though they're 20 years old, and
Yeah, I was surprised at how often you guys use those. In the summer, you guys use those a lot.
So Ken, I'm looking at your, the email back from Mike Stein. And, yeah, he suggested talk to Mary Ann, and I'll do that tomorrow morning when I have a meeting with her tomorrow morning.
Okay. And then he kind of also told how the time frame goes.
Yeah, he said it'll be around, turnaround time is about 3 or 4 days
Mhm.
in his office. And I'll talk to Mary Ann about this to make sure we have it all, and then we can,
Our budget, once we get done with the building, well, at the end of this, our expense, because we're increasing our, I guess, our overall budget by about $400,000.
As far as revenue,
Well, no, as far as what, well, once we're done with the building, because, if you look at the building, like the year 2024, the total expense is 1.7 million. And that's 4,500 or 450,000 for new building. If you take that away, the expense is minus 1.3. Right now we're at 900,000 some change.
yeah.
So it's about an increase of about $400,000 over the overall budget. Give or take some. But that's what we talked about in the other graph. Our that green line's going down quick.
Yeah,
I think that's because of, I think that's what that shows. We're actually gonna have to, we'd have to increase, even if we didn't put a building up, we'd have to increase the budget
and
just to keep it operating.
And most of the reason for that is personnel cost,
Mhm.
because we have put off buying capital expenses, fire trucks and stuff because of the budget.
Yeah.
So.
Have you in the budget you got starting to pay for a new engine in 25, does that mean we'd order it in 24?
Yes. Yeah. So,
Or does it, how long of the duration?
it'd be the same deal, through that rev financing. You order the truck, let's say you place an order in 2023, truck comes in 2024, your first payment is 12 months later. So,
But I just wondered if they were delivery on those, do you know if they're 12 months or 24 months?
I would say it'd be similar. I haven't talked to anybody as far as sales or companies on how long the push time is on, but I would say it would be similar to, 12 to 14 months. On that truck there, the Oxford and the Hanover truck they're both a Sufton. Really like the looks of that truck. We actually took some firemen and went over and took the Oxford truck out with one of their members and drove around in it. Sufton did a great job on both those trucks. Hanover's 3,000 gallons and Oxford's 2,000 gallons. I would probably stick with the 2,000 gallon. It looks very similar to the one we have now, but it's just, it's a tanker with the 2,000 gallon. And Sufton does a good job putting those together.
So I'll talk to Mary Ann tomorrow about a 3 mil 10-year. Is that what? Okay, I'll talk to her about it tomorrow when I meet with her.
So you guys are, just don't pull this up real quick. I was looking at supplements.
Right, type in offer custom pumper tanker is what it'd be.
I was trying to see if they had any pictures. Everything they said in you're talking something like. Something like that, you're talking about?
No. That's just a straight commercial pumper.
Okay.
Go under trucks.
Bumpers?
There you go. Is that a tandem?
Sure if there's that wouldn't be under special apparatus, would it?
You could try it.
That's an aerial truck.
No, we don't need one of those yet.
Let's scroll down a little bit. No, nothing there.
Well, they had two other pumpers here, and, under this, but they said they were both in production, they didn't have any pictures of it. Like these.
So
two
it'd be
over here.
similar to that, but it'd be a tandem,
Be a tandem axle.
a little bit longer.
Well, probably like that in the background.
Yeah.
That's Milford Township right there.
There you go. That's Corby's. Custom pumper tanker tandem, 2,000 gallons is probably around 750, 800,000. If you try to buy a pumper and a tanker, you're talking about $1 million.
You're wanting a dual axle because you're putting the.
Right there, to the right, see it there on the right? Right there.
You're wanting a dual axle though, cause you're putting the weight for the tanker, right?
The weight of the water, it stabilizes it a lot. That's a
It's a
ladder there.
ladder truck.
it just stabilizes it a lot better. It's better for the operator.
It's a custom pumpers.
Those are nice looking trucks there.
I get them off the screen.
Those are recent deliveries.
Yeah. What's? Something like that one, is it?
I think it does look like a, unless that's a ladder too.
Tri-side taser.
Be similar to that there.
And you get the dual axle because of the weight of the water in it.
Mm-hmm.
How many gallons those typically hold?
So, like, Oxford went with a 2,000 gallon, Hanover went with a 3,000 gallon. We would probably go with a 2,000 gallon. I think that's all we would need out here, you know. The township's covered in 75% of hydrant. It's nice, you know, with the pumper tanker that we have out of the other station. Once you pull up, you got 2 trucks sitting there, got 4,000 gallons of water. The worry for me always is, you know, if the guys are going in to have a good water supply,
Mhm.
you know, pulling 2 trucks up with 4,000 gallons, you know, it's just satisfying having
Yeah.
that type of apparatus.
Cause the 2 trucks we have down at 151, the one engine, is it, how much water is it hold?
So the pumper tanker has 2,000,
Okay.
and then the rescue has 300 gallons. But it has a pump on it, 1,200 gallon a minute pump, that it can be used as, just like that tanker, that truck there. As long as you get water supply to it, it runs just like that truck there. And, you know, that's a specialized piece of equipment for the driveways and the hills that we have.
Right. I think
Now.
that'd be good.
Let me ask you this, you would wanna keep this, put this at the new, if we have a new building? Or would you want it down at Post Town and?
It would probably stay at Post Town.
Okay, would Post Town be able to handle it?
Yes, yeah, it's got the bay for it.
Okay,
Going in the back,
yeah, cause when we bought that squad.
yes. Yeah. Yeah, it's got the bigger bay up here,
Yeah,
which is where I got a pumper and a squad sitting now.
yeah. Because that's one of the issues with our older buildings, they just don't handle the.
The doors aren't big enough.
No, the equipment that they.
How big are the doors on that bay? How wide?
14?
They're 14 feet?
Yeah, 14 by 14, I believe.
Cause I think when we went to Wayne, they said there's a 16 feet.
Yeah.
I think that's probably what we wanna do, anything.
You know, you don't wanna build a building for today's service. You wanna think about what
Yeah.
are the guys gonna need down in the future?
Absolutely.
Because it's gonna be a 50 to 60-year-old building.
Yeah,
So you don't wanna go small, you wanna go big like we've learned down there with the squad.
oh, yeah. Yeah, when they built that thing, you were just about had a van.
Yeah.
That's what it was made
Yeah.
for.
Yeah. Well, you had, those ones with the van front ends.
Oh, yeah.
And I guess what you're saying is our plan would be, to upgrade 152.
And or, the process that I would like to do is get the 3 mil pass, get the monies coming in and work on the project for the new building. Get that completed and get, Station 153, Station 151 situated here, and then start this project.
Mhm.
Now, in the meantime, with that having an 1850 marker on the front of it,
Yeah,
I think in the near future, we should go look at grants. With that kind of age on that building, I think we could possibly get some grants, not for the whole project, but if we get enough to totally replace that station. If we don't, then we have money, where we could refurbish it. The bays are good, we just need to get facilities in there for the people that are gonna stay there 24/7.
Yeah.
With that said, Chief Denlinger up there, you know, he's got his office right across from my closet, and his leak in his room is really getting bad.
Yeah.
He's gonna go out into the meeting room. He's got permission from the guys that go in there and drink coffee. He's gonna put him up 2 walls in there. The ceiling's 9 feet. The walls are they're gonna go up 8 to 8 feet. He's gonna do all the work himself. So the only thing it's gonna cost the township is the supplies.
Right.
But he's gonna put him in a 10 by 10 office in there. And then his office will turn into a storage for equipment and stuff.
You got a leak in there, I'd even be worried about using the storage.
Yeah. And we've tried fixing it, the road crew's tried fixing it, it's just the way that it's set up. It's, you know, it's a room between 2 buildings.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah, the buildings don't move together, they move independent.
So the plan would be, we would sell those to 151, 153.
yes.
And, you know, you could probably put that money that we get off those into that other building.
Yes, along with the
Refurbish
monies
it. Yeah, absolutely.
allocated in the budget now.
Yeah.
I think, that should bring us somewhere around 700,000 to 900,000.
Mhm.
You'd have a company come in and say, hey, the bays are adequate, but this
Yeah.
is what this station needs. And get some prices on, what needs to be done there.
Okay.
You know the restrooms are elevated, do you know why they're elevated?
It's the way the basement, you know, the basement's underneath so you go down the stairs, and it's just the flooring in the basement, the way it was built there for the back half of the schoolhouse.
But there's nothing physically like an oil tank or something that's underneath there that needs that clearance or anything?
I think they just wanted more clearance for the basement to be able to walk down in there and store and keep.
Yeah, 'cause you go back toward the bathroom, and you go left and down, don't you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and then
That's probably why.
you kind of walk into the wall. You can, when you're in the basement and you're walking this way, you can see where there's a hole there that goes underneath the floor of the schoolhouse.
Yeah, I got to see that in the last tour.
Okay. You got any more questions, Jeff? Like I said, I'll talk to Mary Ann tomorrow when I meet with her and get started on the language and everything to make sure it's correct.
I think we got our target.
Mm-hmm.
I'm supposed to get estimates.
Yeah.
I'd like to probably lay out some things for 152, we'll go ahead and try to get some estimates on it. We can list right out a description of what we'd like to do. 'Cause I mean, the more information
Yeah.
we get, the better off we are.
Just have a couple other things.
Okay.
Just letting you guys know, I think I sent a text to you guys. Our squad had a squad run to Heavenly Highway Church last week,
Yeah.
2 weeks ago. The church was opening up their gym area for homeless people. And what was concerning was surrounding churches was bussing in the homeless people from other locations. When our squad crew was there, they said there was probably about 50 to 60 people inside the gym. They had cots set up.
Was this just for cold weather or for what?
I'm hoping it was just for cold weather, but no one had reached out to us. We didn't know what was going on. We was there for a squad run. I reached out to Jim Fox, zoning, and he turned me on to the building director of the county. We talked a couple times. He actually had one of his assistants call me So it's in the building, the county building department's hands now. They said they would conduct an investigation and look into it. You know, you know, it's good that the church is helping
Yeah.
the people. I totally understand that. And, you know, under emergency situations, you know, we always open up shelters and stuff. My concern would be that many people with the right facilities and the right exits and, you know,
Right.
you know, as a fire chief, just a fire breaks out. And
Oh,
many
yeah, that
people-
would be a disaster.
Yeah. So, they're gonna check and make sure that they're, everything's under code and correct.
Okay.
Next thing, are old air packs, the ISIs. We've had them, I've reached out to, training facilities like Butler Tech and Warren County Career Center
Mhm.
to try to see if anybody would be interested in purchasing them for, you know, a lower amount, because they are older. We was able to get the grant to buy the MSAs. No one really wanted to pay anything. I went online, really nobody wanted the price for them wasn't that much, so we've got them on Gov Deals. Todd put them on Gov Deals for me. The time for someone to bid on is the 18th. I set them at $250 a set, $250 set. Looking on Gov Deals, that's what in the United States what looked like other departments was putting on there. West Elkton has ISIs and they are interested. They, due to financial issues and stuff, I don't think that they can offer too much money for them. I'll come to you and, you know, after the 18th, probably the meeting's on the 19th, and let you know what happened on Gov Deals, and then we'll go from there.
Yeah. Anything else, Jeff? Comments?
It's one of the things that we have to do something, and our facilities aren't meeting our current needs.
Absolutely.
So I think it's the time we do our upgrade.
Yes, it'll take our fire department and the people of Madison Township into the next decade after this too. We'll get started into it. And, I think we can do this.
You need anything from me as far as talking to the people right now?
No, I was looking, let me get back to this letter that, okay, we're gonna have to come up with a resolution declaring the necessity of a levy of a tax. It's gotta spell out and this is what I'm gonna talk to Mary Ann about, to make sure, you know, she might have a pretty good example. I'm sure she's dealt with these.
I guess you'd see the operations expenses and.
Yeah, this is the email that.
Yeah, I think you sent this over to us. What were these for? I don't even know. No, I don't know.
I'm gonna talk to her about this tomorrow morning, and, definitely be able to have something going pretty soon. Okay?
Sounds good.
Got anything else? Ready to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn?
So moved. 6:51.